Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to the IEEE Women in Engineering Turkey Section Empowering Women Summit 2020. This is the opening ceremony and we have 7 speakers in this session. So let's start with our first speaker. I want you to introduce IEEE Turkey Vice Chair Tunçer Baykaş and give this speech to him.
Thank you very much, Kardan. So I would like to welcome you all on behalf of the IEEE Turkey section. My name is Tunçer Baykaş, and I would like to give brief introduction to our section. We are founded in 1990 as a Turkish NGO, and our first year was actually the future IEEE Haradan Award winner Levent Onral. He's an IEEE fellow as well at the moment. So as of 2020, we have more than 1,600 members. And we are happy to actually receive the Membership Retention Award. So it made us proud that even in 2020, we can keep our members. At the moment in IEEE Turkey, we have 14 technical chapters and 3 affinity groups. Those groups are, one of them is Women in Engineering, as you all know. The second one is the Young Professionals, and the third one is IEEE Site Turkey. Our chair is Fatih Urda. I am working as vice chair, and Simay Akar, who actually worked for this event a lot as well, is working as our treasurer. Could you go to the next slide, please? Okay, so for IEEE Turkey section, we have important activities. One of them is the annual competition for the senior thesis projects. And also we are giving IEEE Turkey section awards, and it has 4 categories: doctoral thesis, research incentive, exceptional service, and the lifelong achievement award. The lifelong achievement awards are actually really famous people in worldwide in IEEE as well. One of them was Erdal Arıkan, who actually received multiple medals from IEEE as well. And as IEEE Turkey, we are supporting technical and student conferences. For example, our signal processing conference, SEAL, celebrated 28th year this year. And also a student conference, the CSCon, had more than 2,000 attendees in 2019. So I would like to welcome you all to this event as IEEE Turkey section. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello everybody, I am Özgenur. Now we will listen to Simay Akar. Simay Akar is chair of IEEE WIE Turkey, and also she is treasurer of IEEE Turkey.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And actually, I would like to thank everybody who's listening. And we're very honored to have IEEE leaders in this ceremony. And we would like to welcome all of you. So you're all actually already changed so many IEEE volunteers' life and many people's life in your professional life. So we decided to organize this Empowering Women Summit to also touch people's life and enable everyone to encourage the people around them, and also upskill and reskill their own future and career as well. So from today, so till 17th of December, so we are organizing Empowering Women Summit as virtual. So I would like to welcome everybody. So we have 23 essential sessions, and we'll have 7-day schedule. You will have a lot of opportunity to watch, connect, learn, and share entire this event. And also we are having a 47 prestigious list of all these keynote speakers, and addressing technical and professional topics. And we will also have 5 virtual networking events. These networking events also very important because you will have more opportunity to join the interactive discussions, and also interact and communicate with the other volunteers, members, and many valuable speakers in the society. So we are actually having welcome reception today after this ceremony, and then tomorrow we'll have young professionals reception, e-reception. We'll have actually opportunity to meet with everyone all around the world, and later on December 10th we have a meetup for the Human Rights Day, and we are actually meeting with our corporate partners, NGOs in Turkey. And next week also we will continue our schedule after the sessions, and sessions are really important for us as well. After the sessions we will have Women in Engineering Affinity Group meetup on December 25th, and also we'll have IEEE Technical Societies gathering on December 16th. So we are actually organizing 3 main events. So from early this year, so we decided to change and adopt our strategy. So many of you knows already our ET Talks from early April. So we started to organize the ET Talks to meet with valuable speakers all around the world. And we start planning this Empowering Women Summit from those days. And we have another project called e-learning ports. So we have a limited number of attendees, and in four weeks, in a month, with different teams every month, we are trying to give deeper knowledge for the attendees with this in e-learning ports as well. So I would like to introduce again the team members. Kardem Büyüktaner as Vice Chair of Women Engineering, Turkey Affinity Group, and Özgenur Sevgili. Now, actually, you are hearing from them as our treasurer, and we have also the IEEE Technical Society liaisons and working group leaders. So we'd like to give floor to Kardem to continue the discussion.
Hello again. I want to give speech to Susan Ketterland, who is 2021 IEEE President and CEO. Let me give the speech to you, Kathy.
Thank you. Thanks. Can you hear me? Just want to check. Okay. It's truly my honor to participate today in the opening ceremony of the IEEE Women in Engineering Turkey Section's Empowering Women Summit. I'd first like to acknowledge and thank the organizers of the summit for inviting me to join you, and for all your efforts in preparing this opportunity for leading edge professional development and career guidance for mid-level and senior women. I do regret we're not able to be together in person. You know, like so many of you, I miss the opportunity for direct and open engagement with our colleagues. It's getting to be a long stretch for all of our for this COVID-19, and I look forward to the day, which I hope is not too far away, when we can again meet and share our thoughts and ideas in person. For those of you who are already IEEE and WIE Affinity Group members, thank you. I'm honored to be your colleague. And for those of you who are not, I hope this summit can provide you with some insight into what IEEE does, what it can do for you, and what we can accomplish together. IEEE brings together not only engineers, but also technologists from the fields of computer sciences, information technology, physical science, biological science, medical science, mathematics, technical communications, education, management, and law. The field of interest for IEEE, it surprises some, but it's very broad, so it's very inclusive, and I'm pretty proud of that. IEEE strives to create a culture of inquiry in which similar minds can bring diverse experiences, viewpoints, and perspectives together. And we, doing this, we bring forth truly wondrous accomplishments. It's only through the continuous expansion of our fields of interest and the convergence of these fields that we can succeed in solving the world's greatest challenges. Looking back at 2020, I know that I marvel at what has been world-changing, some paradigm-shifting months. Throughout this period, one thing that's become quite apparent IEEE is more than just our technical conferences, our publications, and our standards. IEEE is a vibrant, engaged international community. It's growing every year and contributing more diverse, insightful, and essential work than ever. This year, our community came together in new ways, faced the challenges of a global pandemic, and emerged even stronger. And I'm looking forward to 2021. It remains clear that our people is what makes IEEE strong. They're our core strength. And that strength starts at the personal level. It starts with people giving freely of their time and energy in support of their professions and colleagues. It starts with people who have a passion for advancing technology. It starts with people who have a desire to benefit humanity. And with people not only willing to lead, but to mentor those around them and to empower and inspire the next generation of engineering and technology leaders. And that's why I'm so happy to see this summit and what you've put together for this the upcoming week. All of you participating in this week's summit are the leaders who will play a pivotal role in helping IEEE continue to flourish. At IEEE, we're a community, and our community's greatest asset has always been the individual and collective intelligence of our members, and the strength of our relationships with one another. I personally believe that human conversation and connection is the most powerful learning technology ever invented. Despite the loss of face-to-face engagement, IEEE has become more vital than ever to meet the increased need for that connection. And we've been able to provide access to technical resources. IEEE was quickly able to transition to online platforms for conferences and events, and we found new ways to connect and communicate. That was vitally important over this past year. In response to the pandemic, we learned more ways to use technology and to work smarter. We stayed connected and engaged, leveraging computing and communications to allow critical work to continue while keeping individuals and families safe. This year also demonstrated the impact that professional engineers and technologists have on society. We've witnessed amazing engineering developments and important medical and technological breakthroughs. The challenges and changes we've witnessed around the world confirm that the work of professional engineers, technologists, and educators, young professionals and students preparing for technical careers, will continue to be in high demand and have a great impact. It's amazing when I look around IEEE and see all the work that's going on across the globe by our outstanding members and volunteers. I'm just amazed. But what I don't always see or hear is the diversity of voices at our leadership meetings or during presenting at conferences. And we need to find a way to make sure that everybody's included. To be successful and to truly succeed as a global organization, we need to pay attention to who's participating. We need to be inclusive, and we need to make it clear that there's room for everyone. Inclusion is also about making sure that our diverse members are receiving the full benefits of their IEEE membership. And it's critical for IEEE member and volunteer recruitment, retention, and engagement, particularly that our female members feel engaged and acknowledged, and that all of our global members know about the numerous opportunities that are available for them. One important step in that direction was taken at last month's IEEE Board of Directors meeting, when the board approved adding a chair-elect committee position to the IEEE Women in Engineer Committee, and inclusion of this position on the IEEE annual election ballot. This will allow IEEE Women in Engineering members a voice in their global leadership elections, and will provide the IEEE Women in Engineering with a competitive presence in line with other organizations that are focused on women in engineering and technology. Additionally, we need to continue to reinforce our commitment to maintaining a culture that is diverse and inclusive and respectful. This effort includes efforts aimed at improving ethics and accountability, encouraging strong and diverse leadership, and inspiring all members of the engineering community to be responsible for reducing and preventing harassment. And I'm proud to say that the IEEE is ahead of many professional societies in having codes of professional ethics and conduct, and in recognizing the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout our organization. As you may know, a new IEEE diversity statement was adopted by the IEEE board in November of 2019, and this change to IEEE policy reinforces our commitment to ensuring that the engineering profession maximizes its impact and success by welcoming, engaging, and rewarding all those who contribute to the field in an equitable manner. In addition, several important revisions to the IEEE Code of Ethics and Member Conduct were approved by the board over the past few months. It's been a very busy year. In June of 2020, the board approved modifications to the IEEE bylaws and policies to develop and implement one place within IEEE for the receipt of all complaints of member and non-member misconduct. To institute a look-back period for complaints that is longer than the current time frame, and to develop a process that accommodates confidential member and non-member complaints on member and non-member misconduct, and to modify the Ethics and Member Conduct Committee structure and procedures to incorporate best practices for misconduct complaints. The changes incorporate high-level principles intended to focus members on key elements of the code, a commitment not to engage in harassment, and the protection of the privacy of others. Additional modifications to the code were approved at the recent November board meeting to extend the time frame of reporting ethics complaints. The time frame will now be within 5 years of the date of the alleged act of misconduct, or within 5 years of when discovery of the alleged misconduct is first made, in circumstances where such discovery could not have reasonably been made sooner through no fault of the complainant. And these changes will become effective the 1st of April, 2021. And I would be remiss if I did not mention the amazing work and dedication put forth by Andrea Goldsmith. She was the chair of the IEEE Ad Hoc Committee on Diversity and Inclusion and Professional Ethics, and she was just paramount in making sure all of this happened, and her work should not go unnoticed. For the IEEE to continue to thrive in attracting and retaining and engaging diverse members, it's essential that we don't lose focus on this important work. We also have a key role to play in helping to guide the engineering and technical profession, which struggles to attract and retain diverse members, to be a more welcoming and encouraging career choice, particularly for women and underrepresented communities. My years of membership and volunteer service at IEEE have reinforced for me the relevance and importance of professional association. There's a significance in being part of a group of people with a shared purpose, a purpose that goes beyond one's own personal interests and current career. And I encourage all of the summit's participants, IEEE members and non-members alike, to engage with IEEE's activities and initiatives, inspire participation from fellow colleagues, and celebrate our achievements. And also celebrate all that your IEEE membership does for you. Take advantage of it. Get engaged, become a volunteer. For all our professional community and for the benefit of humanity. And I wish you a successful and memorable summit, and wish you all the best. Please stay well, and thank you. Now I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Lazarbek Asunta. She is IEEE Women in Engineering Chair currently.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen with you, and hopefully this will work beautifully. Okay. And can you see the presentation? Thank you so much. What an act to follow. Thank you very much for inviting me here. And Kathy, thank you for opening up this ceremony with exactly the right words to say to this community. My name is Lisa. I'm the chair of Women in Engineering. And I have to say that I am humbled in this role all the time. Volunteers like you make my job easy. And no matter what is going on in terms of politics or emails or admin that's related to the role of chair of Women in Engineering, every single day I am just in awe of the commitment from our volunteers to make change for the better in the space of gender within engineering, technology, biomedicine. I wanted to take the opportunity today in the next few minutes to give you some of my reflections looking back about what the last 2 years have looked like for me as chair, and to tell you about some of the exciting things that you can get involved in. I think this summit itself is, I mean, well done you for attending. This is exactly the type of thing that you should be doing for yourself, whatever gender you are, especially women. But the idea of taking some time in a really difficult world that we're living in these days to think about how you develop personally, professionally, it's amazing, and it's really, really good for you, not only mentally but also professionally and technically. And I think that's what makes IEEE so special, that our volunteers really are compelled to do this kind of work, to share it. I personally think that the only good thing to come out of a pandemic is the breaking down of the barriers electronically. These virtual events are much easier on our bodies. They're much better for the environment. The less flying we can do, the better. And I do, as well as Kathy said, miss the personal interaction. But I have also been invited to speak in India 5 times in the last month, and I would never have been able to do that kind of thing if we weren't have gone virtual. So let me give you a quick flash through some of the achievements from WIE. I think you can spot Samay in this picture right in the center there. But Women in Engineering's goal is to facilitate the recruitment and retention of women in technical disciplines globally. And we envision a vibrant community of all genders collectively using their diverse talents for the benefit of humanity. 2 of our main pillars of our work, of our organization, are to strive to advocate women in leadership roles in IEEE governance and career advancement for women in the profession. So this kind of summit is exactly the type of thing that we are proud to be a part of and proud to support. For those that don't know, Women in Engineering is an additional membership that you must make if you are an IEEE member. It is free if you are a student, and many people are surprised that over 1/3 of our membership are actually not females. We have so many male ambassadors and champions, and I've said this in countless talks, that I personally do not believe that gender equality and diversity and inclusion issues are women's problems. They're everybody's problems. So we need to embrace the male champions and the male leaders that want to speak, and that's why WIE is so proud that 1/3 of our membership are male. Kathy mentioned one of the biggest achievements in my tenure as chair, which are the 2 proposed motions that we just talked about in the November board series of directors. We now can elect our own WIE chair through an annual election, and we have a dedicated treasurer position which will put us in very good stead as we continue to grow. Like all of IEEE and most of our professions, WIE has gone virtual. And like I said, the invitations that ET talks from Turkey, the 5 invites from India this month alone, have been tremendous. And what I wanted to highlight to you as well is how our International Leadership Conference went virtual. The San Diego Convention Center, where we were supposed to hold the event, was housing the homeless people of San Diego during the pandemic, and I believe still is. But we, in a 6-week, 5-week turnaround, engaged with over 2,800 people from 95 countries. doubling our engagement and increasing our impact. And with that said, please note that there is a call for speakers. Our 2021 International Leadership Conference will also be virtual at the end of April. A call for proposals was recently distributed in the link you can see here. The theme is accelerating innovative women who change the world. All genders are encouraged to submit proposals from everywhere. And it's all about bringing formidable volunteers together. So I do encourage you to take a look at this link here and get involved. Another thing I wanted to bring up was something that I was quite big at. So my background is electrical engineering, but I've also worked in public engagement with science and engineering. I've worked in television, and now I'm working in impact. And for me, this idea of how do we make change and how do we make the biggest impact in our volunteer lives, it's all about making the changes part of the systemic process. So making change not a one-off, but actually part of the system. And Kathy already mentioned this, but I'm including the IEEE New Diversity Statement below, so you can read this at your leisure. I'm also getting feedback on the line, so perhaps we could mute another participant just so that I don't get so much feedback. I wonder if it's at my end. Oh, that's much better. Thank you. So with the new diversity and inclusion statement, and with this idea of a snowball effect, that women in engineering is in a really great position to push further with change, to see some stuff going on in IEEE. And let me talk a little bit about that now briefly. We've done a senior membership drive. And as I mentioned before, WIE is all about advocating women in leadership roles for career advancement and promoting member grade advancement. But why? The idea is that if we can increase the pool of senior members, by extension, it increases the pool of eligible members who can be elevated to fellow grade and also who could be in senior leadership positions within IEEE. And already our senior membership drive had reached its target, which was 25% more than last year. The team led by Charlene Brown, who's an extraordinary member from Region 3, and her team, they actually reached out and helped 316 female and also some male, men as well. With this elevation process. And this is in addition to those men and women who already go through the elevation. So we are seeing change in this space. We're also figuring out ways of how to track this a little bit easier, how to find out which campaigns work the best, and really increasing the pool so that we get more women who are fellows and we get more senior leaders who are women. If you're interested in the senior membership drive, it essentially means 5 years of professional service. It does include master's and PhD work. It is free to do. You actually get a lot of benefits and enough money to join a society, but you can take a look at all of that on the link here. And there are tips about everything, and you can always contact Charlene with further queries. And I encourage everybody to take a look at this if you have an hour of your time to get it done. And lastly, I wanted to talk about this practical WIE top 5 list that we created. I was having a conversation with a mentor of mine about strategic things that WIE should be doing, which partners should we be looking to reach out to, how do we make a bigger impact in our own space. And she had said to me, in terms of societies and councils and organizational units, even the Turkey section, what can we just do to make change? What do we have? Just as WIE have a list, a to-do list, and that actually really resonated with me because we had been working on a best practices document for ages. WIE is so fortunate because we have representation from almost every single society and council in IEEE, every region. Most of any unit that we have in IEEE has a WIE rep. And I think from his history, some things work in some societies, some things work in some sections, and we've been collating all of this. But in order to make tangible change and to learn best from each other, WIE has created this top 5 list, and these are doable tasks that we're actually challenging all of IEEE to do next year to make some change. Now you can see all the details on the list. I'm going to provide them to you very, very briefly here. But we couldn't have done this also without what Kathy mentioned earlier, that there are committees on diversity, inclusion, and professional ethics. So WIE has been contributing to this within the IEEE. Now, very briefly, the top 5 lists, because I've got your time and because it's an inauguration, I'll make it short. But the first tip would be to create a permanent oversight committee for diversity, equity, and inclusion, or globalization, that reports, not just one person that's responsible. Sometimes as the chair of Women in Engineering, I feel that I am responsible for all women in IEEE, and in some ways I am, because I'm chair of the organization, but it is everybody's responsibility. Number 2 on the list is to appoint a diversity and inclusion chair for each conference that we run, not as an add-on at the end. Number 3, organizing special events at flagship conferences. Number 4, maintaining a database of interested members and volunteers from underrepresented groups. And number 5 is this WIE pledge that the WIE committee has started, including our own conferences, that we work towards gender diversified panels, including our own. WIE supports the inclusion of a diverse set of speakers, and we believe it has proven that it will lead to more creative, interesting, and representative panels. It also goes back to what Kathy was saying about inclusion across the board. And you can read about the WIE pledge in January. There'll be an article coming out in Spectrum about some of the OUs that have taken this up and how you actually make a pledge and turn it into reality. So you'll read about this more in the new year when I become past chair. Just to close, I will say that it's been an absolute and tremendous honor to have this position. I think volunteering with IEEE has been an immeasurable experience in my own life. I think every single job I have ever received was because I talked about IEEE at job interviews. And I think that the opportunities are endless. So I wish you the most successful event over the next couple of days, and do reach out to WIE at any time. We have an extraordinary set of leaders all around the globe, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa, very much. Our next speaker is Magdalena Salazar Palma. She is IEEE Region 8 Director of 2019 to 2020. Let me give the speech to you, Magdalena.
Thank you. Sorry, I was muted. Thank you for inviting me to be here, and thank you to the organizers, especially to Simai, my good friend for so many years already, and that we will have the pleasure to have her as vice chair in Region 8 this year. And we are looking forward to everything she's going to bring to Region 8 as vice chair of student activities. So welcome to the team, Simai. I will still be there as past director. I'm looking forward to that. I will be able to devote more time now to concrete activities instead of trying to cover everything. That is what you are supposed to do while you are the director. So it is my pleasure also to be in this inaugural ceremony for this event. And I don't have any biography for a change, because usually I have a biographies, and a lot of them for that matter. And I don't mind in this case because you have had Kathy Land and Lisa's talking about women in engineering. They have been, both of them, the leaders of during the past 2 years of everything that happened in the world of women in engineering, and that is a lot actually, and they have been very important decisions taken thanks to the work of these two formidable females. They're role models that we are all um, able to follow if we wish. And from my own experience, I have been involved with women in engineering for many years already. I don't know exactly how many. As volunteer for IEEE, I think this is my 31st year, so probably for women engineering will be 25th, probably. I was a member of the Women in Engineering Committee many years back, and I was chair of the committee for some time also many years back. And one thing that I can, let's say, write in my CV as something that I contributed to is the first Women in Engineering Affinity Group, the first local affinity group, actually in the section, in the Spain section, that I was the chair at that moment in 1997. And there were two formidable ladies in one of the public universities of Spain in Zaragoza, a city north to Madrid, that came to me to ask me if I thought it was okay if they started a women in engineering affinity group, and I say, uh, of course, no problem. They told me the problems they were facing, about discrimination, also breaking the glass ceiling and so on. And I resonated with all the reasons they gave me. And then I was extremely surprised to discover that actually that was going to be the first local group. The committee was working, but there were no local group yet. So I was really surprised and excited, and we started it. And of course, I was a member of that affinity group since the very beginning. And afterwards, when I became the chair of the committee, I think we did a lot of work. Mary Ellen was, I don't remember, Mary Ellen, if you were before or after me, the chair of the Women in Engineering Committee, but it was not before. I think it was after me. But during those years, we did a big effort to increase the number of affinity groups all over the world. Many of them started. Later on, the newsletter started, and so on. So let's say I can consider myself and some other ladies attending this inaugural meeting, like Mary Ellen, kind of a pioneer in this effort. And I'm very happy to say that we are seeing a lot of good output from all the efforts during these years. And I have the pleasure also of having member of the ad hoc committee started by under the initiative of President Jose Moura, of diversity, inclusion, and professional ethics, and to have been part of the effort in in these lines that Lisa just referred to and also Kathy referred to before. So I wish all the participants in this meeting a lot of success. The same that we do when our meetings are face to face. The best thing of our meetings is networking. Now we have learned to do networking in a different way, in a virtual way, but still we learn from each other. We build strong links between us, no matter if it is face-to-face or virtual meetings. So I hope that we will all benefit from these days of being together and learning from each other. And I'm sure that the program will benefit all of us, all of you. And I would like also to mention that as Region 8 Director, I have been favoring a lot, as much as I could, our Region 8 Women in Engineering subcommittee. And actually, it was elevated as subcommittee during my term. Before we were just having a representative in Region 8, which was evidently not enough. And now we have a full committee that have been working beautifully during the past 2 years. I think I spoke already too much. I was not willing to take so much time, but just to give you an idea that in Region 8, we value everything that is done within women in engineering environment in this scenario, and we value diversity, of course, inclusion. We know very well what diversity means in Region 8, and of course, we value inclusion. And again, I wish that you will have a lot of good things to take back with you when these days are over, after hearing and learning from your colleagues and friends. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. Now, our next speaker is Mike Lucan. She is Vice President-elect of IEEE and MJ Board.
Trying to share screen. No, it's not working. Simay, maybe you want to, Simay, you may want to share the screen.
Sure.
This is not working, I don't think.
Sure, I'll do that right now.
My apologies. It's a different system, and I do get echo.
Yeah, I'll just mute myself and share the screen.
Thank you. So while this is being set up, thank you very much for having me. When Simay invited me to talk, we were actually talking about what topic to address. And she asked me to talk about, in my opinion, what empowers women. So you are now getting a talk that has not much to do with IEEE, totally different. I took the opportunity to maybe talk about empowering women and the courage to lead. Next slide, please. A couple of words about myself. As you know, I'm the incoming NGA VP for 2021. I've been volunteering with IEEE, I believe, since about 96, 97. But my history with women engineering and science, actually WISE, as an organization goes back to 1983. And I founded a group in Winnipeg, like we would call it an affinity group maybe today. And I was part of the first big women in engineering and women in science and engineering conference in Canada with some 700 people in Ottawa in 1984. And we formed a nationwide organization at the time. So looking at diversity and inclusion and leveling the playing fields for everybody, or the playing field for everybody, is near and dear to my heart. Next slide, please. This is where I live today in Sarnia, Canada, a hub for innovation. Used to have the highest per capita number of engineers, so the highest number of engineers per capita at some point. It's at the southern end of Lake Huron. I'm happy to talk to technically people in Region 8 today. Region 8 is actually my home region. Next slide, please. So, empowering people to reach their full potential. And really, the best time to start is empowering children. So what is it that empowered me? It was my parents, quite clearly, and maybe my father more than my mother. Both of them believed in the power of education and knowledge. And my dad took me on his knee way back when I probably didn't understand what he was saying, really, but I do remember what he was saying, not that I understood it fully. He was trying to tell me that education is something and knowledge is something that you can always take with you, whether there's a war, whether there's a famine, whether there's an epidemic, it doesn't matter. You might lose your money, you might lose your land, but whatever you carry in your head is yours. And the other thing I was told as a child was I could become and be anybody or anything I wanted. And this was referring to really to professional. So what is it that empowers is encouragement. Of course, it's mentoring. It is the education and ultimately gaining confidence to use what you have learned. So I maintain knowledge is power, and knowledge leads to empower us, but it's also responsibility. I maintain if you know better, you have to speak up. Next slide, please. So how do you get to gaining confidence and acceptance? Where do you practice your skills? And a real fantastic opportunity is volunteering. In IEEE, that means you integrate into a new community, you become part of new families, you belong, you make new friends, you make connections, you learn from others, you acquire soft skills, and social and human relationship skills, and of course, leadership skills. In other words, volunteering is an opportunity to learn without being on a performance scale like you would be possibly at work. Next slide, please. A little bit of career advice that I'd like to pass on from one of my mentors. He was preparing me to lead. And his advice was to align at least some of your volunteer activities with your career aspirations. In other words, volunteer in an area like IEEE in support of your, that helps, is a mutual benefit with your work, essentially, or your career. When you're at work, you should spend 20% of your work time on non-core activities. So, for example, if you're a professor and you work at whichever institution, 1 day a week should be spent to work with either people who are not at your institution or in adjacent or further fields. So if you are a nuclear engineer, maybe you spend some time looking at bioengineering or medical devices. And as you move from an operational role into leadership, we have to learn to let go, to trust others to carry out the operational work. It's very difficult if you had control over your fiefdom, so to speak, and then let go and let others carry out the work and to trust them to do so and do it hopefully better than you could do it yourself. Next slide, please. A little bit from an old research project. Female leadership. Who are the female leaders? And this was done in the 80s. As I said, I was very engaged at that time. I actually met the author at the time. And the three findings were that there's a strong correlation between having studied math and science, or having capability in mathematics and sciences, correlates very much so with successful careers and leadership roles. Firstborn girls tend to be more successful, and girls educated in girls-only schools, segregated schools, tend to have a better STEM grades in high school and have more successful careers. So what do we learn from this? It's usually girls or firstborn children gets the most attention in families. So that carries them forward into careers. And we do learn from this that STEM education is absolutely vital for people to succeed into leadership roles in their careers. Next slide, please. Where are we today in terms of STEM education and the output? Female engineering students participation is still far from 50%. And I need to say that this is very different around the world, depending on culture and encouragement. Just note that in some countries, the participation is much higher, 40% or more, or at least was, than we see in the Western Hemisphere. On the other hand, female participation in medicine, law, and so on sits at 50%. And also female participation in computer sciences is much higher than engineering. And we are still having a long, long way to go to have equal representation of female versus male participation in business and political leadership roles. We are definitely not at 50%. Next slide, please. So what did we learn from the last 50 years? What matters? I'd like to point out that social infrastructure and cultural context is vital. If there's no childcare, you cannot expect the women to take on leadership roles. If other supports are missing, it will not happen. Next slide. Next slide, please. So it's, sorry, one back. So there is a STEM, I like to put forward a call to action to all of us. We need to attract females into STEM, and that means preschool, primary school, and if necessary, further on in the age. We need to support STEM professionals. We need to support female students in their career development. If we don't have mutual support, where is it going to come from? We need to develop strategy and actions to alter the cultural context, and to a certain extent, in IEEE, we've just been doing it with the new code of ethics. We have the code of ethics, we still have to permeate it through the organization. And we need to develop strategy and actions to alter the social infrastructure. Next slide. I like to continue with adapt. I like to think it as a concept of abilities first, to be inclusive of underrepresented groups. It's not just females, it is also people who have different abilities. We have to include them in our diverse society, in our diverse organization. Next slide. So, participate and lead, take responsibility and act. So lead as an IEEE volunteer. I'd like to call you to lead at work and take responsibility in your community. Because knowledge is power, knowledge empowers, but it's also responsibility to act. Next slide, please. So at IEEE, we inspire, engage, encourage, empower. Next slide, please. It's our challenge, it's our future, and it's our goal. The mission of IEEE fosters technological innovation and excellence for the benefit of humanity. It's our goal to make that reality so that together we can and will make this world a better place for everybody. Thank you very much, and the best of success for your event. and your careers.
Thank you very much, Mike. It is our last speaker is Mary Ellen Randall. She is the IEEE MGA Treasurer and the MOVE Program Director. Let me give the speech to you, Mary Ellen. Can you unmute yourself? Thank you.
Thank you. May, will you help me with the slides, please? So good day, everyone. One of the advantages of getting older is that you sometimes get asked for advice. So I'm going to take this opportunity, if you'll indulge me, to give a little bit of advice. And there's one key word that I'd like to leave with you, and that is dream. Why, you may wonder? Why would I pick that word? Well, to start your important event here today, we will explore dreaming. And my hope is that it will carry over to your conference journey and then into your life journey. My name is Mary Ellen Randall, and I'm an IEEE volunteer, hopefully just like you. And I spent most of my career as a manager in industry. Over the course of my life, I've learned the important power of letting yourself dream. Next slide, please. A dream or a vision, it starts us on a journey to achieve or arrive at a goal or a place. Over my lifetime, I've met people who came from childhoods of abuse, neglect, poverty. And when I met them, they were highly successful in their career and their family life. It amazed me to hear their stories. One thing they had in common was a dream of achieving a goal or success in their chosen career, or a family life filled with joy. They could envision the future filled with happiness, and they could see the elements that were necessary to get them there. For some, it was achieving an educational milestone. For some, it was hard work, or a spouse who had the kind of family life they desired. As they grew and matured, their dream grew, and the journey became clearer, and the path unfolded before them. So wherever you are in life, please let yourself dream, and then nurture that dream along the way. Next slide, please. Today, we embark on the Empowering Women Summit. This is a journey where we dare to dream together. Next slide, please. So at this Empowering Women Summit, please let yourself dream. Build on that dream. Establish your goals and actions to help you achieve that dream and other dreams. Today and always, let us also support each other's dreams and go forward together. Thank you very much.
Well, we really appreciate
you
all
very
your
much.
insights. We really appreciate for all your insights. And so you're not only just wonderful leaders for IEEE, like you're wonderful individuals and wonderful women, like has a lot of achievements that as a really role model for many of us. So we can only grow by sharing, learning from each other. So that's why your involvement in this ceremony was really special to us. So I would like to heartily thank you one more time for each one of you for being here and taking your time, sharing your words, your stories with the audience. I hope everybody has some gaining from all your speeches. So giving us a direction and motivation and letting us to empower ourselves with your words. It was really special. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
Pleasure.
So before we close it, I would like to just remind the audience that we will have e-reception at 9 p.m. so they can have access to the link. So it won't be a live on YouTube. It will be on a platform, so they can have access by checking the agenda on the event website. So, and also see the full for the rest of the schedule. We are so excited to start this Empowering Women Summit with your words, and we are very honored. And so, Empowering Women Summit 2020 officially started right now, and we are so excited to meet with everyone for upcoming days. And we have more amazing speakers, and we'll address many other topics. So then that will be really great if they can check the whole schedule and meet with us again. So before closing, is there any final words that anybody wants to add? So this is like the end of the ceremony.
I would like to just mention that all these women, I met them all through Women in Engineering, right? We've all been active in there at some point through our IEEE journey, and it's an amazing group of women. And it's not just for older people or younger people, it's for all people. And it's just a great organization. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us all.
Thank you so
I
much.
wish you great success in the event and everybody great enjoyment and taking something very positive from your summit.
Thank you so much for giving us this honor. And we can actually finalize the ceremony. So, Özgenur.
Thank you very much to all our speakers and listeners. We will see again. We will see. Sorry. Also, we are waiting for you our networking session. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.